to number 192?
Yes, we
All
do.
of our music books today are red or green. Yeah, I planned that, I'm sure.
Very liturgical of you.
Whatever. Anyway, I don't think I've ever sung this hymn, but I love this text for what we're doing today. So, there you go.
All right then.
I can't do the words and this music, so
Sing out. Let's sing out. There's a spirit in the air, telling Christians everywhere, praise the love that Christ revealed, living, working in our world. Lose your shyness, find your tongue, tell the world what God has done. God in Christ has come to stay. Live tomorrow's life today. When believers break the bread, when a hungry child is fed, praise the love that Christ revealed, living, working in our world. Still the Spirit leads the fight, seeing wrong and setting right. God in Christ has come to stay. Live tomorrow's life today. When a stranger's not alone, when the homeless find a home, praise the love that Christ has lived, living, working in our world. May the Spirit fill our praise, guide our thoughts and change our ways. God in Christ has come to stay. Live tomorrow's life today.
That is an awesome song.
Yes.
We should sing it a lot more.
as opposed to none? Yeah, we just doubled it, so there you are. Except you can't double zero.
No.
My math family would
Zero thing.
tell me. I love that last phrase that you sang a couple of times. Live tomorrow's life today. Live tomorrow's life today. That has very much what we're going to talk about today. Which is why when I found it, I was like, oh yeah, never sung this one. Didn't know about this. This is perfect. Would you stand? And we're going to share in our call to worship. God is making something new. The future brings surprises.
Live tomorrow's life today.
Give the weariness and disappointment to God and
Live tomorrow's life today.
bring your whole selves to God. Don't hold anything back. God in human form understands our needs. The Savior is coming to bring new life.
Live tomorrow's life today.
Awesome. Now you get the Green Book. Another one we don't know really well. I have to keep you honest and learning along with myself. My Green Book, sorry. You know this one, you know.
That is all. 1 and 2, that was can't go as far away from our influence.
Got it?
Yep.
God Almighty, we are waiting for a Savior to appear. Meet us in our desert journey. Give us
want people to have to wait. Although, we just
It's
sang
all about
waiting.
waiting, hon.
I know, I just, wait a minute, I just said that. That's pretty funny. Sorry. We have these moments, huh? Okay. I've missed you guys. I've been at the middle school for 2,000 years. The calendar just said 2 weeks.
As if Jesus was born and then you went to school.
Oh.
Bless you for going to middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wasn't in charge, which was the great part. Jane, you okay?
Yes.
Okay, goodbye. We'll see you in a minute, I hope. Yeah, I'm just playing the piano for rehearsals for the group. But still, it's just,
Middle school.
It's a challenge.
sorry, I'm still getting over the thought that I was at middle school for 2 weeks. But I missed all my fun stuff. That's the part that I mean, being there there is I get some pleasure out of it, and I get a lot more pleasure out of it. But then I have to say no to WOW, and I say no to my mom's Bible study group, and I say no to just being by myself, and I say no to, a clean house and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how working parents do this all the time. I think they're nuts to live that kind of life. It's not for me. So that's trying to just calm down after all that. We do have a time for prayers coming together. You saw my mom play. She's really doing well. But she just would rather be on the other side, and not stuck in a wheelchair. But she's got such a great disposition and happy, and it's really good. So, and their place is so full of music and people coming in. They had an ROTC choir sing like this last week. I'm like, I was stuck at the middle school. I couldn't go here, but I was like, wow, that would have been cool. So, what other joys or concerns? And let's get some of both.
Joy, first of all, joy that my friend Sue led us in a fun entertainment for the Glendale seniors on Tuesday while a lot of ladies were here, and I appreciate that immensely. Great. And secondly, my mother-in-law, 94, is right now having surgery, which, why are you here, Sue? But she's there. I mean, we were with her for about 3 hours already this morning while we were, waiting to be taken. But it's a hernia repair that she's not bothered by it, but the doctor talked me into it, that it was the appropriate thing to do because she was healthy and not having a big problem. So anyway, it's a big deal, but
It is a big deal.
it's a big
94,
deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah. So anyway, so she's undergoing that. So it's a joy that she was healthy enough and doing it. It wasn't emergent, and that she's, I know if Jim and I sat and had a little coffee and said, if it doesn't go well, she's ready to. You know what I mean? I'm sure it'll go well.
Oh, I have a prayer for Richard Whitaker. I don't know if any of you
Yeah,
know
of
him.
course.
Okay. It was his birthday last week. I just want to update. No, Martha has ALS, and it's getting to the point where he has to. Literally, he's her nurse now. I mean, she can't feed herself anymore. She has to eat just pureed food and whatnot like that. So it's just a difficult time for him, and he has been feeling that well. He had the flu for like 3 weeks, he said, he's, and I think that he would appreciate people's, he's like one of the last people to ask for that, but I think it'd be nice to pray for him and her, because it's a really tough, he doesn't think that she'll make it for another Christmas. So,
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's really quite bad, so.
Okay. Thank you. Nancy.
I just had a joy of all the people that worked on the luncheon on Tuesday. That was
Yeah.
really
I heard it
nice.
was
And
phenomenal.
It was really nice.
It was
It was
really
very
nice. It was
yeah.
really nice.
yeah, it was really nice. It was very well done, and I know that takes a lot of work, and grateful for that. And then all the people that are working on this week's Shine On, and prayer that they keep healthy and all that. But what a gift to the community.
This side.
For my niece Rachel, who's being induced as we speak.
Wow.
Okay.
And she's 3 weeks before her due date, but she's ready to go, so.
Usually by that time, you're like, yeah, okay.
I
Loretto.
was gonna say, what a joy that Nancy has been able to bring Jenny here. That has been such a
Yeah.
gift
It
to
is,
all
yeah.
of us, because we've prayed for so long, and it's a miracle to see her
It's a
sitting there,
miracle,
and she
yes.
can smile, and she
She
says
loves it.
words, and, oh,
She just
so
loves it.
you're such a
So
gift to her, and
She had
we're
therapy
just so
today, but yeah.
grateful to have that joy to see Jenny here.
Did you have something, Sue?
I'm just grateful to see all of you and be a part of this. Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else over here?
I just wanna add it to see Christine here, who's been so
Yeah.
sick. She had to miss her daughter coming for Christmas because of being pregnant. But you're here and you're better, and enjoy Christmas, we hope.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, let's pray. Well, God of the unexpected, thank you for the surprises that you bring to us each day. Surprises that we may or may not notice, but you give them freely. And you like it when we say thanks and when we see them, but we know that you take delight in just giving them. We've lifted up our concerns today for our friends and our families, and some of them we've not said out loud. We know that you know them. And we're so grateful that you are a God who likes to surprise and likes to fulfill dreams and likes to move us forward into great relationship. We are here to worship you. We are here to say thanks. We are here to ask you to open our eyes and our hearts to what you put right in front of us and that we miss every day. We pray this in your most holy name. Amen. Okay. Let's sing In the Bleak Midwinter. Thanks.
I think heavens.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty winds may blow. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone.
writing up who speaks to about which lady here for Advent, said, I want to take Elizabeth. Because, as most of you know, I can relate to Elizabeth. Getting married at 40, struggling to get pregnant for 2 years, or a year and a half, finally having a baby at 42. I get it, Elizabeth, I get it. Now, Tony did not go into church and come out not speaking. But I can relate to Elizabeth from that perspective, very much. And so we're going to talk about that. And we're actually not talking through the book that we had. This has been our Advent Bible study in our class, and it's phenomenal. So, sorry this is a repeat. Sorry this is a repeat. You should have come, so now you get caught up on one chapter. Just kidding. But I loved this. Oh, this woman, Rachel Billups, she is a United Methodist pastor. She was part of the Ginghamsburg Church for a long time, which is a well-known Methodist church. And she writes cool stuff. So I loved her perspective on Elizabeth. It gave me a new understanding and a new appreciation for all of this. And so I titled this, but she titled it, Dreams and Visions. And one of the miracles of today is sometime earlier in the week, I sat down and wrote out a whole bunch of thoughts and ideas, typed them up, was typing and writing and have lots of typos in here, and didn't get a chance to look at it till this morning. I went, it's pretty good. Okay. But it's a miracle. I remember being 12 years old, and that's when I named Jacob. I gave him his first name when I was 12, laying in bed. When I had my son, I'm going to name him Jacob. It's my grandfather's middle name, and I loved it, so I just knew I was going to name him. So this dream had been going on for quite a while, and my 30s were not pleasant. Because I was that woman, you know. Everybody else gets married, everybody else has kids. I borrow their kids, you know, to feel a little maternal stuff. It's fine, but you just sit with that disappointment. And let me tell you now, even when people get married, when women get married, don't start asking them when they're gonna have babies. Don't ever do that. And after they have a baby, don't ask them when they're gonna have another, because they might be 42 and just barely squeaking one out. Don't ever ask that of anybody. So, sorry. That's a little, I think you can tell I feel pretty passionate about that. But my dream at 12 was a dream that came from God, because dreams come from God. All dreams come from God. I'm going to do a lot of reading, so dreams come from God. Hopes, visions, desires. What is it that you have dreamed about in life? Any time in your life? What are you dreaming about now? Is it something that's possible? Do you have what it takes for the dream to come true? To come to fruition? Maybe you have forgotten how to dream. Advent is a season of waiting for dreams to come true. The waiting is active, with minds, ears, hearts, hope-filled, expecting the unexpected, right? Haven't we always preach that in Advent? We're expecting the unexpected. Our bodies and mind, our world is constantly changing. Agreed? But something inside of us is resistant to change. Agreed? Yeah? Do you put up the same Christmas decorations every year? Okay, proof and point right there. We get stuck in a rut. True? Yes, we do. It's a comfort zone, and sometimes we watch our dreams disappear. Just go away. We forget about them. Sometimes we want to hold on to the stories or narratives that make sense of our lives. Okay, oh, I'm too old, or, I've already done that. I don't really need to do that again. I The good, the bad, the in-between, it's all just comfortable. We know what to expect. These stories that we tell ourselves are what we know and what we can put on every day. Elizabeth had a dream. She was born of the tribe of Aaron, which is the priestly tribe. She had a priestly family. Her father was a priest. I bet all of her brothers were priests. I don't know how many she had. She married a priest. Sounds a little bit like Ann Jones, right? Church was what she knew. Most of us in here, church is what we know. We're comfortable here. It's easy. We know how things are run. So it's good. Church is what she knew. As a girl, she probably dreamed that one day she would marry. She'd probably raise lots of babies and find her calling in life. How many of you don't even have to raise your hand, you can just answer in your head, had that dream? Okay. And I ask that because some people may not have come to what they had hoped for. She didn't have what she wanted. The child hadn't come. And shame rested on that family because they didn't have a child and they didn't have a son. And every Jewish priest, they're looking for that. They're going to pass this on. So shame rested on her and Zechariah for not having a son. They were stuck. And isn't it amazing how that still shows up? Oh, you guys get married when you have your baby. Oh, hope you have. There you go, Tony. You got yourself a son. Yeah. Really? Really? It's still there. It's still there. The time came for Zechariah to do his priestly duty. And it's just by lots, right? Like all the priests, they're divided into groups, and a group gets to go and one person gets picked out of that. So it's a pretty big lottery for him to be able to have been picked. He was chosen to go behind the curtain, the Holy of Holies. And I love to connect that curtain is the one that rips when Jesus is crucified. So it's that curtain. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Absolutely. All of a sudden, he's in there doing what's expected, and Gabriel shows up. Now, I don't know if an angel showed up right here with us, I think we'd all be a little surprised and perhaps a little fearful, because that's what he was. He was afraid. And he tells him that you guys are going to have a son. Yeah, right. Sure. He actually doesn't say that, but he does kind of say that. He goes, how's this going to be? And because his reaction was not one of just great belief or even, I don't know, his mouth is shut. He can't speak. And he can't spread the news. Now, some of us have been in those times when you're like, you can't tell anybody you're pregnant yet, right? But you want to, right? He had to go 9 months with that. Zeke, as I want to call him, why not? Did not get what he expected that day. He was just performing a good old, he was expecting this just ritual just to happen. And God showed up and surprised him. God surprised him. Think about that. After his initial shock, wait a minute, really? Really? Let's be honest. Sometimes we get so caught up in our religious routine that we forget to expect the unexpected. How many times do you come to church? Okay, here comes the doxology. We're going to sing, we have a call to worship. We're going to do the Lord be with you. The Lord also, I don't even go to 10:30 anymore. I can't remember what we said. But we expect those things. Those things have to be in there. While we're worshiping week after week, we can become numb to certain God possibilities. Of course, we believe that with God, all things are possible. It's just that sometimes we do not imagine those possibilities are for us, our community, our church, our families. God shows up for people all the time. But for us, we're not so sure. We cling to the reality that is constant and comforting. We begin to buy into the lie that we are the makers of our own destiny. And if God's power and person are part of the equation, it's only demonstrated through our own faithfulness. We have to be faithful for God to show up, right? We think that, right? Zeke and Liz were certainly faithful. He was a priest. They followed the law. They held on to a faith that kept them bound beautifully to community. Consistent is rarely a bad way to live. Coming to church every Sunday is a good practice. And yet, something in the narrative, something in the regular routine blinded Zeke to a future that could be different and different from his comforting norm. And fear has a funny way of squelching expectations. Fear has a way of paralyzing our present. Perhaps Zeke's fear was masking the hopelessness he felt. Hopeless because there was not a clear path forward for him or God's people without a son, and just the future, and without the Messiah. Sometimes, when hope is unclear, God illumines a path or a dream forward. As humans, we often gloss over the ugly parts of our life, the failures, the sorrows, the questions, the doubts. This morning, when you came to church and you greeted a friend, how are you? Did you tell the truth? This morning you might have, but I bet you can think of another time when, no, I didn't. Pretty lousy. But we don't want to burden people here with that. We don't want to weigh that down. We don't want to be the downer of the party. We don't want to admit to anyone else that things aren't really what they should be or what we want them to be. But guess what? It's in those cracks that God shows up. It's in those cracks that God's light can shine through. It takes those cracks to see the light shining inside. God's story for us is bigger than us. Since the beginning, since Genesis, the first book of the Bible, God has been calling us forward into a relationship with each other and with Him. God is still creating in and through us, and we have got to remember that. There were 6 days of creation listed in the Bible. Most of us probably believe that there's some evolution or some, billions of years that the world has been around, the universe has been around, and the earth has been around. That stuff, I think I said this to you guys before, just consider those dahlias that come up every year. And God is still creating. God's still making new people. God's still changing hearts. God is still bringing dreams into reality. Even the unlikely dreams, just like Liz's. A dream that was not confined to a season of her life. It wasn't confined to that good birthing age, but always. The dream for her was her entire life. We are designed to dream forward, always. Did Elizabeth ever lose her dream? No. It just became unlikely to happen. She maybe didn't talk about it very much, but it was inside of her. What about us? Have we given up on a dream? Something simple or something complex? Have we become so comfortable that there's no reason to dream? Have we become so old that there's no reason to dream? Are we so focused in the working to make a dream come true that we forget to let God show off? We don't have to make all the dreams come true. God wants to be a part of that. In these post-pandemic days, we've seen the church take a hard hit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have we lost hope in the church, that the church will survive?
No.
Good. But church as we know it has changed. We're online, we're hybrid. There's a lot of media in worship. I'm trying to get over that one. There's a lot of new music in worship. Some of it I like. It's my issue, it's not. These challenges to our picture of how church should be is cracks. We got to let these cracks open, and we have to realize the church is changing. Church has always been changing. We weren't always the United Methodist Church. We were the Methodist Church. We were the EUB. And now we're the United Methodist Church, and there's a global Methodist Church. Twice as many Methodist churches to proclaim the gospel. This is a chance to dream. The church of the future is going to be different. What great news. We can dream of God's work in a new way. We can be bold in knowing God will build something new. We can be a people who dream dreams. We can be a place where dreams can be dreamed and encouraged and brought to life. Can we be those dream builders? Or are we going to be dream crushers? And the church has been notorious for being dream crushers. And I'm not talking about Whitefish Bay United Methodist Church itself, the church. But does our church encourage dreams or crush them? No, I'm sorry, you can't do it that way. We've always done it this way. That's just one superficial kind of dream crusher. I feel really strongly about that because I'm struggling with the church changing. I would love to go back to the 1970s and in my youth choir, and we'll be there every Sunday morning and we'll sing these great songs and we're just gonna have a blast. But that's not what the world needs right now. It's not about me. Anyway, dreaming requires contagious hope. Contagious hope. And I think we have a palette out there, God has a palette out there to make an amazing change in our world. You see it here in our church. If you come on Wednesday nights, holy Toledo, you can't hardly find a place to walk. It's great. And these people are coming on Sunday morning. And they're hopefully finding their dreams. Hopefully they're finding their community. I'm excited about that. That may mean we have new ideas coming up. We have to change our thoughts. We can do that. God is a God of dreams. While you read this psalm out loud, I'm going to walk to the piano and I'm going to share a song with you from Ken Minema. And it's not the one you're thinking, Sue Doherty, sorry. So, can you read Psalm 38:9 aloud, please?
O Lord, all my longing is known to you. My sighing is not hidden from you.
Is there a place for dreaming in the corners of your mind? In a world where dreams are broken and dreamers hard to find. Do you dream
Pass up talking about dreams and not singing. Absolutely. About the dreams. I just have one more question for you. You know Cole Porter? You know, he wrote great. What nativity? He wrote a song that was inspired by part of the nativity story. Do you know what that song was? I get a kick out of you.
Oh.
Elizabeth? It's a joke.
I was gonna say
It's a
that.
joke.
I'm not sure.
No, I think she said she made that up.
I made that up. But do you know the Christmas alphabet?
No.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. What is it?
Noel.
Noel.
That was a first grade.
That was the what?
That was
First
a first
grade.
grade joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's okay.
She's been in middle
She's been
school
in
for
middle
2
school, I was
weeks.
gonna say.
Right.
God needs something to survive. That's it, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something really quick? I know everybody's very busy, but on Tuesday I went to the movie that's out there right now. It's Chosen. Christmas Chosen. And if you do have time, I really enjoyed it. Now the first little bit, I'm like, oh, this lady's talking. Why am I going to this? Because I brought my husband. So you're always like, oh. And then there's a couple songs, like they sing "Go Tell It on the Mountain." Mm-hmm. You might not like the version because it's a little more,
It's fun.
jazzy. But anyway, so then they sing
I like
a couple.
jazzy.
Then they sing a couple of songs that are very good, and then they do sort of what you were talking about last week, which is, Mary and Joseph, acting out and then one of the things I think is cool is then they go to Mary as an adult, like our age Mary, and her reflecting back on the experience of what she remembered and whatever, which is a cool perspective that I've never really thought about. And then they sing "O Holy Night," and it's, what's his name? You were just Andrea Bocelli and his son singing it. That's fabulous. And then this guy gives a little message, and it's a really good message. I got done. In the beginning, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? My husband's gonna whatever. And then I got done and thought, I'd like to just sit through this again, because I think that I would absorb more of it if I had whatever. It almost is a Christmas Eve service. And I think about, like you now, that are so involved in church and so involved in this, in the service, this thing that's happening, that you can't just sit sometimes and just enjoy it, And so anyway, it's only here till Sunday, but
Nancy, where's it at?
it's at Marcus and North Shore.
Between now and Sunday.
It's at most of the Marcuses.
Come on now.
It's like 3
Christmas
o'clock on
Chosen.
Sunday or whatever.
Christmas Chosen.
Christmas Chosen. You'll see it. It's like the only one that's not,
I have something you should go see also.
Okay.
And it's called "'Twas the Month Before Christmas," and it's showing out at the Waukesha Civic Theater. And it is, we've seen it twice, and we're going again, because we haven't seen it twice this year, we've seen previous years. It was written by a man named Doug Jarecki, come on out. And it is the telling of the nativity story in a very humorous and very poignant and very inspiring way. It is phenomenal. Tickets are like $30, they're $21 if senior citizen. And I am serious. It just shows for like the 20th through the 24th or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And there are some daytime showings, but it's really, really good.
What's it called again?
'Twas the month before Christmas. Not 'twas the night, but 'twas the month. And he takes a great look at the wise guys in a really meaningful way, and the innkeeper and his family are it's hands down. I love the Christmas Carol and I love all the other stuff, but it's hands down just so delightful. Waukesha Civic Theater. So, and John Kramer's, he runs that. John Kramer did one of our
His
early,
name sounds familiar.
the Christmas,
Shows, Christmas
the
shows.
one after, so a little child shall lead them. I think that one.
Okay.
When
Do
we
they
did
do
that.
this every year?
They do not. And what I'm hoping though, is that if they were be welcome, I mean, if they would be open to it, to saying next year, show it here. And we can have it several days here because the set is minimal.
Okay, I was gonna say, could we?
What
do it?
Neil has out would blow what they do
Oh,
away.
wow.
I mean, they just they don't have all those needs for that. They just need a way to get in on the left and on the right, and we have that. So I was like, man, if they could come and do that, it'd be a whole new audience on this side of town. So I'm like, they should come. So anyway, go and see it. So then you can go, yes, we do need to bring that back and bring that to our church.
There's a lot.
What time are there any during the day?
It is only for 3 days, 20th to the